Hello, Wellspring. I'm joining you on May 5th. We are reading Nehemiah chapter 6 today. Yesterday, we heard further about Nehemiah caring for the needs of the people, the common person within Jerusalem, within Israel, and calling the nobles and officials not to oppress them further, but actually to bless their people, to lift them up out of poverty and oppression, and not push them deeper into it. With that in mind, we're going to jump into the beginning of this week with Nehemiah chapter 6, and I'll be reading from the NIV. When word came to Sanballat, Tobiah, Geshem the Arab, and the rest of our enemies that I had rebuilt the wall, and not a gap was left in it, though up to that time I had not set the doors in the gates, Sanballat and Geshem sent me this message: Come, let us meet together in one of the villages on the plain of Ono. But they were scheming to harm me. So I sent messengers to them with this reply: I am carrying on a great project and cannot go down. Why should the work stop while I leave it and go down to you? 4 times they sent me the same message, and each time I gave them the same answer. The 5th time, Sanballat sent his aide to me with the same message, and in his hand was an unsealed letter, in which was written: It is reported among the nations, and Geshem says it is true, that you and the Jews are plotting to revolt, and therefore you are building the wall. Moreover, according to these reports, you are about to become their king, and have even appointed prophets to make this proclamation about you in Jerusalem. There is a king in Judah. Now this report will get back to the king. So come, let us meet together. I sent him this reply: Nothing like what you are saying is happening. You are just making it up out of your head. They were all trying to frighten us, thinking, their hands will get too weak for the work, and it will not be completed. But I prayed, now strengthen my hands. Here's another one of Nehemiah's arrow prayers, right? Lord, strengthen my hands. One day I went into the house of Shemaiah, son of Deliah, the son of Mehetabel, who was shut in his home. He said, Let us meet in the house of God, inside the temple, and let us close the temple doors, because men are coming to kill you. By night they are coming to kill you. But I said, Should a man like me run away, or should someone like me go into the temple to save his life? I will not go. I realized that God had not sent him, but that he had prophesied against me because Tobiah and Sanballat had hired him. He had been hired to intimidate me so that I would commit a sin by doing this, and then they would give me a bad name to discredit me. Remember Tobiah and Sanballat, my God, because of what they have done. Remember also the prophet Noadiah, and how she and the rest of the prophets have been trying to intimidate me. So the wall was completed on the 25th of Elul in 52 days. When all our enemies heard about this, all the surrounding nations were afraid and lost their self-confidence because they realized that this work had been done with the help of our God. Also in those days, the nobles of Judah were sending many letters to Tobiah, and replies from Tobiah kept coming to them. For many in Judah were under oath to him, since he was a son-in-law of Shechaniah, son of Era, and son of Johanan. And his son Johanan had married the daughter of Meshullam, son of Berechiah. Moreover, they kept reporting to me his good deeds and then telling him what I said. And Tobiah sent letters to intimidate me. So, a little bit of a short chapter here to start off our week, but lots of stuff happening, like a powerful happening here, right? Like, uh, what is his name? I'm going to get it wrong. Sanballat, right, is continuing, and he's been kind of the nuisance. He's been the thorn in Nehemiah's flesh. Is continuing to try and intimidate Nehemiah. He's trying to trick him to come out so that they can harm him. Nehemiah doesn't come out. He hires prophets to prophesy against Nehemiah. He makes threats against him. He tries to intimidate him to say, okay, the king of Persia is going to come down against you. The king of Judah is going to come down against you. You're trying to set yourself up as a king, right? And Nehemiah's like, no, that's not what's happening in this space at all. And Nehemiah never takes the bait. Even when a prophet comes to him, or a person comes to him and says, you should hide in the temple, and he realizes, because he's discerning, because he's listening to the voice of God, because he's shooting up his arrow prayers, Lord, strengthen me in this moment of trial, in these moments of temptation. where it feels like there's discouragement, strengthen me. God is giving him discernment. God is giving him wisdom. And he's providing to Nehemiah opportunities for Nehemiah to recognize this is not from the Lord. Though these prophetesses, though these prophets are coming against me, though Sanballat is coming against me, though the Arabs and the Ammonites and Geshem are coming against me, I'm not going to yield, because my duty is to the Lord. My duty is to Israel. My duty is to Jerusalem. And so I'm going to honor Yahweh. I'm going to honor God, and I will not bow and I will not bend to these demands, even demands that threaten my life. And it just reminds me, like, when God has called us to do something, we shouldn't just do it halfway, and we shouldn't just do it when the job is almost done, right? In this chapter, the walls are built, but the gates are not on the walls yet, right? They haven't hung the gates. They haven't sealed off everything. All the gaps are filled. All the wall's been reestablished, but we're not quite yet done. So often people struggle to finish their spiritual journeys well. And, I hate to say that. There are people that finish their spiritual journeys well. But, time and time again, we've seen people who have been in Scripture, even men and women who served the Lord, who did well for a long period of time. And then at the end of their journey, when it's almost finished, when it's almost complete, they somewhere stumble, they trip up, and they don't finish well, right? Think about David. He's a man after God's own heart. He's done so many things right, and then he trips up over Bathsheba and ends up committing murder and adultery, and that leads to the division of Jerusalem. It leads to the breaking up of his family. I think about Noah, who builds the ark and then finds himself drunk and naked, right? And like, there's so many of these stories where these great men and women of God are doing all of these things really well, and they're pursuing and they're doing, and when they get to the very end, they stumble, they trip. And so I would encourage you, church, to pray and ask the Lord in your journey, in your life, to be like Nehemiah and say, Lord, strengthen me now as this journey is coming to a close, as this call, as this moment is coming to a close. And perhaps for some of us, our actual physical life is coming closer and closer to an end. And there's an attack of the enemy to want us to trip and stumble at the end. Shoot those arrow prayers up to the Lord. Lord, strengthen me now. Raise me up like Caleb in the strength of youth, even in his 80s. God lifted him up to be powerful and strong so that he could go out and fight and deliver the people and lead them into the promised land, right? We can pray and ask the Lord to do this for us so that we can finish the job that God has given us to do, so that we can finish well, so that we don't trip at the end, so that we don't stumble when the enemy comes in like a flood in a moment where we could get a little lax because it's like, oh, we're almost there. Or in a moment where it's like we could relax a little bit and say, I'm getting older, I'm getting tired, I've been doing this work for 50 some days, but there's 2 days left to go. No, press in and press on. Ask the Lord for that strength. And then when those false claims come against you, when the enemy begins to lie, when people begin to try to lie or overwhelm you, you can hear from the Lord, receive Holy Spirit wisdom and discernment, and press on to finish the race set before you in strength. Sprinters in races often come to the end of the race and you'll see them lurch forward, right? They throw their chest forward and their arms back as a powerful finish to push through to the very end and to get that last little bit of energy out, boom, and finish the race as fast as possible. This is what Nehemiah is doing. And this is what Nehemiah is calling us to do. And Paul says the same thing to us. Run the race as if you want to win the prize. Well, what that means is you dig a little deeper at the end. You don't ease off the gas, because that's when you get past. You don't lay off right at the very end. No, that's when at the very end is when you surge forward with everything you have left inside and you throw your chest out and press in and finish the race. So, church, if you're in a sprint, if you're finishing your long haul marathon, whatever it is, finish strong. Ask the Lord, strengthen me now. Pull up everything you have left inside and push through to the finish line. Don't let yourself be caught off guard. Don't let yourself be caught giving a little bit less effort because you're older or because the journey is coming to a close or because the job is almost finished. No, this is the moment to seize the strength that God has given you and to go forward and finish the race, accomplish the mission, finish it, and be rewarded by your God for honoring him and for doing what you're called to do. God bless you, Wellspring. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful start to your week. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you. May he strengthen you to finish the races that you have to finish today, this week, this month, this year, this decade, whatever it might be. May God strengthen you to finish well. God bless you, Wellspring.